Praise the Lord, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and thank you for joining us on today. Thank you for being patient. Our 7 a.m. devotion ran over tremendously, but we are here today and grateful and thankful for this wonderful opportunity to be able to join you in another Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is a natural, normal, and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. That's why we shout good morning, because morning is a good thing. Grateful and thankful that you're here with us on today as we dare to prepare to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. So thank you for joining us. Come on, y'all coming on in the room. Thank you, y'all in here today. Amen. And I want to say good morning. Well, today is day 43. This lesson is for you and for me. We're going to talk about the gift of grace. The gift of grace. Let's talk about it, y'all. Grief often comes with guilt. The what ifs, the should haves, the if onlys. Have y'all ever experienced that? Have y'all went through that? That grief comes with guilt. The what ifs, the should haves, the if only. What if I would have did this? What if I would have did that? Man, I should have did this. I should have did that. Man, if only I would have did this. If only I would have did that. Have y'all experienced that? I did that with my father. I definitely experienced that. He was sick the day before he transitioned and called. He had been in the bed all day and he wasn't feeling too good the day before. And I'm like, man, I should have known. Man, what if I would have took him to the hospital? Right? Man, I should have took him to the hospital. If only I would have been thinking, right, to take him or something. I don't know if his organs are shutting down. I don't know. In the bed all day, not feeling good. And I'm like, man, I should have. What if? You know what I'm saying? So we go through that. We deal with that. We battle the what ifs, the should haves, the if onlys. But grace reminds us that we are human, that we did the best we could, and that love is greater than any regret. And I think this is so very important because for so many of us, we have this, we deal with this, we face this, right? We face all of this, and we have to put it in its proper perspective because we don't want to live in that. We don't want to live in that, and that type of stuff will eat you up, right? And so grace reminds us that number one, we're human. Understand that we're human. We did the best we could, right? We did the best we could with what we had, assessing situations and making things happen and all of this stuff, y'all. We did the best we could with what we had. And that love is greater than any regret. That the love that we have, the love that God blessed us to share and to have, it is greater than any regret that we may have. And so here it is. Give yourself grace. I think the two attributes of God that I love the most, right? I mean, of course, His love. That's default, but His patience and His grace. Patience and grace. God gives us grace. God gives us grace. God knows we make mistakes. We don't dot every I. We don't cross every T. That God gives us grace. You know how like the rent is due on the first of the month, but then they give you a grace period to say, yo, it's the first of the month. I know we don't always get it in on time, but you know what? We're not going to penalize you, and we're going to give you some grace, right? And this is the thing, y'all. That's one of the most beautiful things that not only God gives us, it's one of the most beautiful things that we can give ourselves. Give yourself grace, right? Because it's progress, is not perfection. We're not going to dot every I. We're not going to cross every T. We're not going to get everything right. And so give yourself give yourself grace as you navigate through this journey. You are not meant to carry guilt like a chain. You are meant to carry love like a light. Y'all don't hear me this morning. Y'all don't hear me this morning. You are not meant to carry guilt like a chain. You were meant to carry love like a light. And that's why you got to give yourself grace in this season that you're in, what you're going through. Release the weight of regret and walk forward in forgiveness, y'all. You got to learn how to release that weight of regret. Release it. Walk forward and forget. Release it. Be free. Be free. Whatever that is. Whatever that is. I should have did this. I should have did that. I could have did this. If only. And this is the thing, yeah. There are some things. That's why you got to give yourself some grace. There are some things that, like, yeah, right. You think about it. Maybe you should have spent more time, or maybe, yeah, you. If only you would have this. If you could have, yeah, all of that, right? Yeah, there may be some. There may be a little truth to it, but this what you got to do. You're not meant to carry the guilt. To carry guilt like a chain. You are meant to carry love like a light. Release the weight of regret and walk forward in forgiveness. At some point in time, you got to release that weight of regret of what you didn't do, what you should have did but didn't do. All right, the if onlys. You got to release the weight of regret, and you got to walk forward in forgiveness. You got to let that thing go, right? You got to let it go. That's one of the most beautiful things you can do. That's one of the best things you can do. You got to let it go. Here's the point of application, y'all. Write down one thing you need to forgive yourself for. Speak words of grace over yourself, knowing that love covers all. Write down one thing you need to forgive yourself for. Speak words of grace over yourself, knowing that love covers all. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 43. This message is for you and for me, the gift of grace. Hope and pray this lesson was a blessing for you. I hope and pray y'all engage in this. Yes, love is greater than any regret. Yep, that's good. Thank you so very much. It is so very true, right? Those what ifs can definitely consume your mind. That's why I pray daily for a peace within my grief that surpasses all understanding. Yes, and he will give it to you, right? Yes, even in a miscarriage. Even in a miscarriage, absolutely. Because miscarriage release the weight of regret. Yep, even in a miscarriage, because this is what happens. Now, we talk about loss, change, and transition. And I know, the primary focus is death, but any loss, change, and transition. So even in the miscarriage, right? The what ifs, the could haves, the should haves, all of that type stuff. You got to get to the point, because this is the thing. Again, back to the lesson. You were not meant, your body, your mind, your emotions, you were not meant to carry. You're not meant to carry guilt like a chain. He didn't design you mentally and emotionally to carry guilt like a chain. That's why he says in his word, cast all your care upon me, because I care for you. God says, give me that. Let me hold that for you. I care for you. So throw that to me. Pass that to me. Get that to me, because I care for you, right? Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I'm going to give you rest, right? Come to all of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, if onlys, all of that burden, all that stuff come lay down the burden that you carry. For in this sanctuary, God is here. He says, come give it to me. You are meant to carry love like a light. Release the weight of regret and walk forward in forgiveness. You release the weight of that regret and walk forward and it's so very important. Otherwise, the enemy will try to use it to consume you, to confine you, to define you, right? And so we release it, we will let it go. Thank you for sharing, for asking that as well, because it's so very true. Look, y'all, I appreciate y'all. Y'all got any more questions? If y'all do, drop them. Drop them. If y'all got questions, drop them. If y'all got questions, Drop them like they hot. Drop them like they hot. Drop them like they hot. I appreciate y'all joining us on today. This is a journey that we continue to go through, that we are in it for the long haul. Um, and I am grateful to be a part of your journey, right? As y'all navigate through this thing. But then it's like, why couldn't I carry the full term? Yeah, yeah. Then you ask yourself, well, why couldn't I carry him full term? Yep. And these are questions that we wrestle with, right? These are questions we wrestle with. These are things. Ooh, I love it. These are things that we wrestle with. These are things that we wrestle with. I'm developing this new and you inspire me this morning, Shanice. I appreciate it. This new model of grief, and part of that model is to go upward. It's the same thing we're doing at church, but it's upward, inward, outward, and forward. And the upward part is the God part. No, you can question. Oh no, absolutely. You can question. So this is the thing. You most definitely can question. Now, you can ask why. Now, we may not get a reply, right? We may not get a reply, but we can ask why. And there are some things that we don't understand. There's some things, I always say this, um, there's just some things that we may not understand. Um, Isaiah talks about how God says, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways." Right? Job talks about we don't even understand how the bones of a baby are formed in the womb of a mother. So how can we understand the mind of God? Right? There are some things that we don't understand, and so what do? We wrestle. Right? We wrestle. We live in the tension of it. We wrestle. We wrestle with God. Like, yeah, this was my desire. I wanted to carry this baby full term. I was not able to, and I don't understand it, and we can ask God why, and we can sit in that tension of it. That's what grief is all about, right? Grief is expressing outwardly what we're feeling inwardly. So we have the wonderful opportunity to be able to wrestle with God, to question with God, to cry, to lament, right? To lament over the loss, the change, and the transition. And that's all a part of the process, right? Not trying to not trying to solve the equation, not trying to rush you to wellness, not trying to hurry up and tell you, oh, it's gonna be all right, right? Now it's having the opportunity to sit right there, to sit in that moment, to sit in um to sit in the fact that this is the reality of my situation and I don't like it and I got questions, right? And I'm grieving and I'm lamenting, right? And so we wrestle. We do. We wrestle. We wrestle. We wrestle. And there are so many things that happen. I'm talking about whether it's a job loss, whether it's a friend betrayal, whether it's losing a loved one, right? I've had to wrestle. And we do. We do. We may not have the answers, but we give ourselves permission to feel what we feel. We give ourselves permission to reveal what we feel. And we process. We sit right there and we process. And that is part of the journey. That's part of the journey, right? And so I hope and pray, Shanice, that you're able to connect with somebody. I hope that you have I don't know if you're seeing a therapist or a counselor or somebody that can help you navigate through, um, the loss, the change, the transition that you're going through. But that's definitely part of the process. And so let me know if you are seeing somebody. If not, if we can point you in the right direction, because that's definitely all a part of the process. Thank you. Absolutely. No, thank you for participating in the conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for putting it out there. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the convo this morning. Look, we're going to continue. We're going to continue. And I hope it was a blessing, right? And I know that this is what we're supposed to do, give ourselves grace, right? I know this is what we're supposed to do. Not only give ourselves grace, but release the weight of regret and walk in forgiveness. And sometimes it's a process, right? Sometimes we're trying to navigate through that. And how do we do that? How do we navigate through that? And so um, let's just continue to stay the course, y'all. Be faithful. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. And I look forward to being with y'all again tomorrow, same time, same place. Good morning.